Awesome. All right. Well, welcome to the Acure first TAGME study session of this year. I think we have 4 or 5 of them scheduled. And so this time around, we're going to go through 3 sections of the TAGME study guide: the common program requirements for fellowships, the institutional requirements, and then the ACGME NST recognition for sponsoring institutions section. All right, so I'm just going to give a little bit of a brief overview before we dive in. I did basically just tell you this. This is what the TAGME study guide looks like. This is the 2025 version. If anybody needs it, it is on the TAGME website, so it's sometimes hard to find, so just email me and I am happy to send it to you. This little quote here I pulled right off of the TAGME website. Candidates are encouraged to rely on this guide as the authoritative source for exam preparation. So really, you shouldn't have to go outside of this guide. This is where all the questions will come from. And as we move forward, if there is someone who has recently taken the TAGME exam and I am saying anything that you feel is incorrect, please just unmute and speak up. It's been a while since I took it. I took it as MOC a number of years ago, and it seems like it always is changing slightly. So please speak up if I'm not giving all of the correct answers, or you experience something different than what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll talk just 1 second here about preparing for the exam. How do you prepare for it? When do you prepare for it? And why do you prepare for it? So how should one prepare for the exam? You should look through the entire study guide, highlighting or flagging areas that will help you find the answers. When does a busy coordinator prepare? This is not a typical exam in which you need to commit all the information to memory. So to get the biggest bang for your buck, know what is included in each section of the study guide and where to look for the appropriate answer during the exam. And then lastly, why bother? So some of the reasons to pursue certification include professional recognition, increased knowledge and skills, possible increased earning potential, career opportunities and advancement, achievement, and commitment to our profession. All right, and here were some FAQs I found recently on the TAGME website. I think some of these might be new. So there are no full practice exams. There is this Measure Learning, which offers a brief preview with sample questions to show the exam structure. So the study guide that I showed you a copy of includes all of the key materials used for the questions. So the best strategy is to know where to find the information quickly, as a lack of familiarity may lead to failure. This came from their website, so this is not me. So exam delivery options, this might be new. Exams are administered through Measure Learning and can be taken at a Measure Learning testing center. I don't remember that in the past, so you definitely want to look on the TAGME website to get more information about that, or via the live remote proctoring through ProctorU, which is how I think most of us that have taken the exam recently have taken it. It's a live remote proctoring exam. You will be required to clear your desk space and remove or cover any other computers in the room. When I took it in an office like this. I had to basically clear out everything. It was terrible. I would probably go someplace like my local library where there might be a room that there's nothing in the room, because I literally had to take everything down and put it all back up again. You'll want to complete the test out tool and restart your computer if needed. I don't know that this is anything we have to worry about now, but I'll just read through it. Check your confirmation email for allowed prohibited items. I think we were allowed the year I took it to have just a plain thing of water. So just a bottle of water with nothing on the outside. The label was off. Use a computer with administrative access to disable interfering apps. If you're using a work laptop, ensure you can remove security restrictions. So you probably want to have IT look stuff over with you prior. And then a private room with a closed door is required. Candidates will receive an immediate on-screen notification of pass or fail. I don't think you get any more information than either you passed it or you failed it. But if somebody can, if somebody who took it recently had a different experience, please speak up. The year that I took it, and I'm probably up next year for like recertification, I actually had to like lift my monitor up and show the live proctor underneath my desk and all over. I was using a desktop computer. That was not ideal. So if I had to do it again, if I do it again, I would use a laptop that I can easily manipulate. All right, so let's start out here. So where do you think you would find, let's see, I gotta hit my, sorry. Okay, requirements pertaining to the support services at the sponsoring institution, A, B, or C?
I'm going to say A.
I don't know if I have the questions up there. I think it probably is in the institutional requirements. All right, where would you find the requirements regarding faculty evaluations? A, B, or C? And A, B, and C are each of the like main headers. So you'd have the ACGME common program requirements for fellowships. You'd have that whole whatever 67-page document or whatever it is.
Looks like a consensus is A.
Thank you. Thank you for, I don't have the, I'll open it up over here. Yeah, that's correct. All right. Where would you find how often continuity clinic experiences must be evaluated? Yeah, I'm seeing A's popping up here.
Lots of A's are popping up.
Yeah, and I think that is right. All right. Where would you find requirements related to non-standard trainee appointments? Good job.
C. There we go.
Very good.
Look at that. Everybody's getting it right. Yay.
And where would you find the definition of institutional recognition? Yep. I've seen a
Yes.
lot of B's. Yes, correct. All right. And lastly, where would you find when trainee health and disability insurance eligibility begins?
The B's.
Yes, great. Good job, guys. So this is basically, if you were asked a question about support services at the sponsoring institution, the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out where in this, whatever, 300, 400 page study guide you would go first. And so that was kind of the point of this. That's going to be your first step, right? It's not going to be, I have to dig back deep into my memory and remember the answer to that question. I have to figure out in which of these main areas I would go to look and find this. So great job. All right, so now we'll just do some questions. Which of the following is true? And I won't read them out loud.
I'm going to say B.
Good job. Yeah. And I think here we would know, well, I don't know that you would actually get questions like this where you're asked which of the following is true. But the things that kind of pop out to me is fellows must. Must is a word we see all the time in program requirements. The word not would lead me to believe that's probably not the correct answer. All right, the GMAC of a non-standard program must. So firstly, before we get to the question, what would you use as your search text for this question?
Non-standard program.
Yep. Yep. NST and GMAC, good job. All right, so the GMAC of a non-standard program must. I'm sorry for D, that kind of doesn't make sense.
I'm going to go with A.
We got an A, we've got an A, we've got a B. Oh, an
Oh,
A.
apparently the exam will tell you what section the questions come from. Thanks, Melanie.
So the GMAC of the NSP must review and approve the appointment of each of its program directors.
Oh, Autumn says that the exam is in order of the sections.
Okay, great. That is awesome. That's the kind of stuff you guys throw out if we aren't bringing it up. So that's great. I think it was the year that I took it too, and I thought that was great because the first other 3 times I took it, it was not. It was all over the board. So
Right. Like if you're in the institutional requirements and it will tell you above the first question in that it's in the institutional, and it might be like questions 1 through 20 will be in that section. The only thing I can say is make sure you pay attention to that because it will move to another section and you're kind of in maybe not a panic, but just stressed about hoping you don't miss it and realize you're looking in the wrong section.
great.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
You also need to pay attention to the wording of the question because you can get those trick questions based upon how they word it.
Yeah. So the clinical responsibilities for each fellow must be based on, what are we guessing here?
E.
Guessing E, and
YF.
F because it's the clinical responsibilities for each fellow must be based on available support services, fellow ability, PGY level. Yeah, I would guess I screwed this up.
It looks like it should be an E.
It looks like it should be E, or it looks like it probably should be A, C, and D. But again, if you're taking the exam, you will have the study guide in front of you, and hopefully you will have read the study guide closer than I did when I made this question. All right, ACGME accredited residency and fellowship programs must function under the ultimate authority and oversight of.
I would say C.
A.
We have C, we have
I would
A.
say C or E. Those are my choices, C or E. I'd have to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it.
C's and E's.
Well, I think that the trick words here are ultimate authority and oversight.
Yes, correct. Exactly. All right, for subspecialties in which the ABMS member board and or AOA certifying board offers an annual written exam, in the preceding 3 years, the program's aggregate pass rate of those taking the exam for the first time must be higher than. My brain always kind of seizes up when math questions are thrown in. However, when you're having to look for something, I think these kind of questions are almost easier because it's going to be, I don't think there'll be as many like trick type questions like Terry said when you're talking like a number, an actual number. All right, so we've got some C's out there, I see. And yes.
Really? Is it really obvious? I don't know if
No,
it's
it
really
wasn't obvious.
obvious.
It wasn't obvious to me. I just had the answer up here in front of me. But when you look it up, you're going to find that, it's saying bottom fifth opposed to bottom 15th. All right, the sponsoring institution in partnership with its accredited programs must ensure the availability of the following resources.
When in doubt, go with E.
Yeah. Me.
E's out there. Yeah, good job, everyone. Does anyone who took it recently remember if there are all of the aboves, or is it truly just one answer for every question? All right, so which of the following additional qualifications and conditions are required if accepting an exceptionally qualified internal graduate?
E.
What did we say? I'm sorry.
E, like Edward. We have a D.
Yeah, but it says
Most are
internal
E's.
graduate. B.
I still say it's E,
Say it's B.
even though you think it's B.
All of the above.
Yes, because we get a boatload of exceptionally qualified, and it's got to be put before everything, and yeah, I kind of figured.
The learning objectives of the program must include efforts to enhance the meaning that each fellow finds in the experience of being a physician, including
E.
I think it's F.
Well, you're right.
Am I?
You are. I guess enhancing professional relationships is not one of them.
all right, which one of these is false? The sponsoring institution must provide systems for education in and monitoring of
B is false.
Yeah.
good job. All right, which of the following are true statements regarding GMAC?
E.
E.
Yep, I think everybody got this one. Yeah. Time spent by fellows in internal and external moonlighting must be counted toward the blank minimum weekly limit.
Maximum.
Sorry, what?
You said minimum, it's maximum. So I would check moonlighting. Yeah, external moonlighting. Well,
Yeah. Yep. I think moonlighting is a good one. I think this would be the section you'd also think about looking in, right? Because it's fellows. So the common program requirements for fellowships. But yeah, that's great. Work hours, moonlighting. All right. So what do we think is the
D.
maximum weekly limit? Spent moonlighting. Or wait, I won't read it because I'm not reading it correctly. Time spent by fellows in internal and external moonlighting must be counted toward the blank maximum weekly limit. I think everybody's got it. So you just don't listen to my babbling. And I didn't even give you E, but you were all right. It's C. All right. GMEC responsibilities must include review and approval of
F.
E, and we have some Fs.
B.
I think it's E. I'm not looking at the answer, so I'm going to just hit the answer here. Yeah. So appointments of new APDs is not
Really,
something
because
that
our
GMEC
GMEC
has.
also does APDs.
What's that?
Our GMEC also does APDs.
But
We
they
have to
don't
get
have
approval. They don't. Okay.
to. They do, but they don't have to.
Dang it. They're
Yes.
messing with me. They're gonna make me fail the exam.
There's a lot of things I would guess we all do because they're institutional requirements that are not necessarily ACGME requirements. You know, they might be a JACO. Is JACO even a thing anymore? I don't know. But they might be that kind of requirement. They're not ACGME requirements. But for this, whatever it says in that study guide is the correct answer. So which of these is not a designated institutional official ACGME required responsibility?
D.
I think everybody's leaning towards C. That's what I was leaning toward too. Let's see what we have here. Yeah,
Yay.
great job. All right, the sponsoring institution must ensure that NST trainees are provided with a written agreement outlining the terms and conditions of their appointments. The agreement must contain
E.
yeah. Good job. I think everybody's passed the exam. Nice job. We still have lots of slides to go, but great job, everyone. The program must obtain which of the following prior to accepting a fellow transfer? feel like there's some tricks in here as well.
I'm gonna say B.
So I'm going to lean towards C. Oh my goodness. D. You must get milestone evals upon matriculation. All right.
Oopsie.
And honestly, you know, now what we used to call the summative evaluation at the end of training that would have that line about them being competent is now called a final eval. So see, I've used summative and final throughout, and so that's just another thing that's probably been changed and just something that, you know, you'll have to look at when you're digging through the study guide. All right, a written statement reviewed, dated, and signed at least once every blank years by the DEO, a representative of the sponsoring institution's senior administration, and representative of the governing body, must document the sponsoring institution's GME mission and commitment to GME. I'm seeing a lot of A's. That's what I'm leaning toward.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, every 5 years.
Yikes.
But again, this is another one. Once you actually find where this information is, then it will be, you know, it will be easy to pick out the answer because it will be clearly 5, right? No, not really any interpretation. So which accreditation status must a sponsoring institution maintain if it oversees and has ultimate authority of an NST program? Oh goodness, one of the above, seriously.
E.
You are correct.
We'll say C.
Yeah, everybody, yep, everybody's going with C. Oh my goodness,
But we were right. It was E.
you were right. You were right. So maybe this is, and obviously I'd have to go back and look, that it's true that you have to have some sort of accreditation, right? Whether it's with warning. I don't believe that that's true, but it could be. You would just have to go back and look in that NST section. So which of the following is not a required wellness-related educational component for fellows and faculty members?
E.
So we have some E's and some C's. So which of the following is not required? I'm going to agree with those of you with the E. Yeah, so access to self-screening tools is a required wellness-related educational component. Okay, the resident fellow forum must.
E.
Tacos.
Of course, it could be B. I demand it.
Whoops. Okay, there's my answer up there in the corner. I didn't even see it. Good job. Everybody got it right. Everybody gets a taco, which would probably pair with tequila, Susan.
Yes,
Which
it would.
accreditation status must a sponsoring institution maintain if it oversees and has ultimate authority of an NST program? Oh my gosh, we've already done this one.
Yeah, didn't we do this?
We
We did
just
this
did this
one.
one.
So we are
Yes.
moving on. Sorry, people.
Yes.
In addition to salary and benefits, the sponsoring institution and programs must provide. I cannot copy and paste any of this stuff, so I have to type it. So I apologize wholeheartedly for my typing skills or lack thereof. Must provide resident fellows with educational tools that include
E.
Yeah, E.
yeah, good job, everyone. I'm going with E as well. Yeah. And if they give phones, all the better for them. Fellowship programs may assign fellows to engage in the independent practice of their core specialty during their fellowship program. If the program permits their fellows to utilize the independent practice option, it must not exceed blank percent of their time per week or blank weeks of an academic year.
Good God.
Mm-hmm. I
I'm
agree.
gonna guess B.
I'm gonna guess D. We've got everything all over the board, so
Yeah, I think
C.
B.
Oh, C.
Ooh,
Who
it
said
is
C?
C.
Good
Ooh,
job.
yay,
Hey.
everybody. Wow, lots of C's out there.
So the GMAC must demonstrate effective oversight of underperforming programs through
B. Yeah, B.
saying B. Yeah, good job. Which is not an ACGME classification of supervision?
A.
A.
Good job. Another good thing that you'll be able to potentially search for. Conditional oversight. The DIO must annually submit a written executive summary of the AIR to the sponsoring institution's governing body. AIR is the acronym for
B.
B.
review versus report. I thought it was B2.
Yeah, I thought it was D.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, Jen.
It does seem like it comes out in report form, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we did this one, but I don't think we did. So written statement reviewed, dated, and signed at least once every 5 years by the DIO, a representative of the SI's senior administration and representative governing body must document the sponsoring institutions.
E.
Looks like everybody is in agreement with E. Good job. The sponsoring institution, in partnership with each of its accredited programs, must ensure the availability of adequate resources for resident fellow education. An example of such a resource is Yep, I'm going to go with F. Good job. So which statement pertaining to non-standard training program directors is true? Got it. Yep. I'm agreeing with the crowd here. See? Yes, good job. So the program sponsoring institution must engage in practices that focus on mission-driven, ongoing, systematic recruitment and retention of a diverse and inclusive workforce of
E.
I see some C's, I see some F's. I'm agreeing with F on this one. Right, so while your department chair is a faculty member, department chairs aren't listed in the requirements as such, so. So clinical work periods for fellows must not exceed 24 hours. Up to blank hours of additional time may be used for activities related to patient safety, such as providing effective transitions of care and/or fellow education.
And I say D. C.
Yep, I think the C's have it. Yep, good job. When a sponsoring institution participating site's license is denied, suspended or revoked, or when an SI participating site is required to curtail activities or is otherwise restricted, the SI must notify and provide a plan for its response to the Institutional Review Committee within blank of such loss or restriction. I'm seeing some D's. I'm
I'm gonna
seeing,
say A as well.
I'm going to go with D as well. Right. So 30 days may be considered a month in our mind because it is, right? But that's not the answer. So in the actual document, it would say 30 days in the requirements opposed to a month. All right, what is not a curricular item that NST programs must make available to NST trainees and faculty?
I'm leaning towards D.
Okay, so we've got some D's, a C. I think it's C. Yeah. Night float must occur within the context of the blank and blank requirements.
B.
Yeah. The overwhelming response is the right one. B, good job. All right, the special review process must include a protocol that results in a timely report that describes Are we all going with E? I'm guessing it's E. Yeah, good job. All right. Which educational tools must sponsoring institutions make readily accessible to faculty members and residents and fellows?
See,
I think I was just getting a text about question banks like 5 minutes ago, so this is really timely. A. I'm guessing A as well, everyone.
yeah.
Great job.
It should be C though.
NST trainees must be scheduled for a minimum of blank, free of required clinical and educational responsibilities when averaged over blank.
D. We go with D.
So we have D's. I bet you guys are right. I'm thinking it's C, but I think you guys are right with D. Yep. Yep. Good job. Yes. Right. 1 day and 7 free. Exactly. All right. The sponsoring institution must ensure that residents and fellows are provided with official documentation of the details of their professional liability coverage before.
B. Let's say B.
Seeing lots of B's out there. Yes. So that is the actual answer. Some places it may be that it starts before the start date of their orientation, but B is the answer. So what is an example of a support service a sponsoring institution must provide to minimize residents' fellows' work that is extraneous to their educational goals and objectives?
B.
Yep, I'm with you on this one, Susan. Looks like everybody is saying E. Good job. All right.
I like that.
Longitudinal experiences such as continuity clinic in the context of other clinical responsibilities must be evaluated at least every blank and blank.
I'm gonna say B.
Yeah, is everybody feeling B?
We got B's and D's.
Yep. And we don't really deal with continuity clinic in our world.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
it's
it is
D.
D.
Ugh.
Wow. Congratulations. Well
I was
done.
thinking B too, but congratulations. Nice job. The sponsoring institution must maintain a policy on moonlighting that includes which of the following? I think we're all leaning toward the same one, which is E. Great job. I just have a few more slides here. Which of these is not considered a multiple evaluator source? I just put together all
Oh,
my
no, that's right. It is B.
ECC packets this morning, so this is like right at the top of my head.
So it is B.
Yep. Good job, everyone. Which of these must a sponsoring institution in partnership with its ACGME accredited programs provide?
A.
Yep, A. And I think we touched on that earlier. So good job. Yes, there's no free parking. All right, so that was the last slide. The deadline to apply for TAGME is coming up soon, June 1st. So any of you who are planning to take it, hopefully you've got your application in or are planning to do so really soon. I'm going to stop sharing. I've been approved. All right, who's been approved? Nice. Sorry.
Me.
Good job.
The educational credits was the hardest part. And then I remembered I went to a conference like 2 years ago in New Orleans, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Perfect. So did you receive an email that you were approved? Oh, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And then have you received information yet about the
But the
exam?
test is?
Yeah.
No, she said it will get a separate email later.
Okay. That's good to know. We still have a few minutes, so if anybody has any questions they want to ask, well, Marissa, since she just filled out the applications, or anybody that has just taken the exam.
I have a question. If anybody knows this, I plan on taking mine in person. I've been approved also, because I'm just very fearful of the proctor horror stories. So I'm going to take my manual printed. Are we allowed to have like written notes in our manual that we printed off from the official site?
I believe yes. If anybody else wants to speak up, I'm pretty sure I had post-it notes and
Yeah, you can. You can have post-it notes, tabs on it, anything
But I
from the
can write it,
handout.
I can write in it with my own handwriting just for like,
Yep, highlight
okay,
it,
cool.
do whatever you need to do, gut that thing, because that's what I did when I did it 100 years ago. Um, it hasn't changed either. I've done a lot of the TAGME study groups and just highlight away, put tabs where it's really, really important for you. Control F is very useful. It's a control function to find. I don't suggest it so highly because a lot of people don't read it online. They're more visually looking at it. Like me, I'm a visual person. I have to look at it. And some people can read it online, which is great, and can go with a highlighter on there too. Um, but it's faster to find it on paper where you know exactly where you're going to with the next tab, next tab, next tab, rather than like control find, and then it says, oh, you have, 365 pages to go through, which is almost a whole entire study guide. But good luck. You guys are gonna all do amazing.
Thank you.
can you have both? Can you have the actual
Yes.
printed one? You can
Yep.
use both.
They have the PDF version up now, and then you have your binder, so you can use both.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
On their screen, they have a little area where you can click on the actual PDF that they provide the study guide.
Great.
May I ask, are you allowed to skip a question and then go back to the ones that you skipped as time allows?
Yes. What I've done in the past is the questions that I didn't know, I would write it down and then go back. I would guess, write down question number 141. I answered A, but I put a question mark next to it because I didn't know it. I would just go back to that because it's timed. And I get test anxiety. So if I don't click something on it, and then if I don't have enough time to go back because I'm so focused on the ones that I do know, then you're going to get dinged from not even answering that one question. It could just take one question for you not to pass. And that could be the one that you just said, oh, I didn't have time to go back. So it's
Okay.
better just answer the question, write it down for your reference. So if you do have time to go back to it, then you can change it. But as long as you have an answer on there, you don't have that anxiety saying, oh my God, I have 16 more to go through and I still haven't even finished the ones that I didn't even answer, and I have to go back to those. And that's another 27 questions. Then your time clock saying, oh, you only have 1 minute left. That 1 minute is that 1 minute you scrolling back to all the ones that you missed, and then you're scrolling to the ones that you still haven't completed. So my recommendation, click an answer. And I was always told when I did exams, just pick C, the middle one.
So Erica, could you share with everybody what your process was to prepare for the exam?
Um, yeah, hold on. I'm a little sick, but I'm presentable. I'm not sorry. And let me see if I can find ah, my binder. Can you guys see it?
Uh-huh.
Was I have all these little tabs. I don't know. Can you guys see? Let me see if I can take um at least I can change my background. Hold on. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
See all my tabs? I literally went through every segment and made a tab. And within those tabs, I did like my quickest clip notes that I could possibly think of. Back in the day, they used to do, what was it? The definitions for everything. So that was like a foreign language to me, and I had to relearn it. And I'm like, I don't know what a CCC is. I didn't know. I've been doing this now for almost 15 years. So I'm an old person here. Um, but yes, I went through every single one and I tapped what was really, really important and what I grasped from each segment. Um, but it was just easier for me to tab everything. I mean, it was just, I gutted it. Like I just went through every single, and I just put there like what stood out. So the questions that you guys went through, was also like, okay, pathways. I didn't know pathways back in my day. There's 7, but that's a little bit different. But yes, um read it. Read as much as you can. I highly read, just read the whole entire thing once. And then once you're done with that one time, then just go back and just, okay, what sounds like a testable question? What sounds like, okay, that sounds like that, yeah, like numbers, 30 days. Everybody knows the AC Jimmy Golden rules about the clinical work hours. Those are like mandated, embedded in all of our heads. Some are not, and they're like not making sense. So if you guys know the 80-hour rule, well, if they're 60, 70, 65, we already know automatically those numbers don't even exist in the ECGME world. So that would be automatically taken out. So just know what you know and be confident in that. And that's where people lose that confidence because of multiple choice where it gets tricky and confusing. Everybody's like, oh my God. No, you know the rule. It's 80 hours. There's no 65, there's no 70. Know that rule and just say, okay, that's my gut. I know it. Confident, click, go to the next one. Okay, 4-week rule. Got it. Confident, there's no 2-week, 3-week. Got it. Next. So yeah, just be confident in your decision when you guys make that. Don't second doubt yourself. Don't do that because I'm notorious for that. So anybody else who does that, don't, just be confident in what you select.
That was really helpful. That is exactly how I studied for it too. Exactly what you did. So that was really, really helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah, and if anybody has any suggestions or recommendations how to do this differently, obviously I took these slides that I had made from last year and I added a few more slides from the current study guide. But if there's something else that would help you learn differently, just send it my way. I'm happy to try to change things up a little bit and make this as useful for everybody as possible. I will send out the slides. Hopefully I'll have everybody's information in Zoom, so I'll be able to send them out. But for all of my Acure folks, I will also upload the slides, and then we recorded this, so I'll upload this to YouTube as well. But in the meantime, if anybody has anything or needs anything, please feel free to reach out. We have another one of these coming up in June, and I know this is a super busy time for all of us, so I understand if people cannot attend. I know we all have new residents starting, but hopefully I'll see most of you there. Otherwise, everybody have an awesome long weekend, and talk to you soon. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.